If monster films throughout history have taught us one thing, is that anything goes. This is the Giant Gila Monster from 1959. You'd think that filmmakers would choose a more menacing animal, like a spider or a kraken. But no, a Gila monster. Come on! It looks adorable more than anything else, actually. Anyways, the title couldn't be more self-explanatory. A giant Gila monster runs amok in a small rural Texan area, and a brave young man must stop it. This kind of film has been done before, like in The Blob, released 1 year earlier, but this one messes it up pretty badly. The first thing to note here is the blindness of the characters. Some in this film hypothesized that the giant Gila monster had been living in the area for years. How the hell did nobody ever notice it? It's a big place. He could have been there for years without being seen. Yeah, I bet. This film was obviously made to feed the teenage drive-in market, because it contains all the elements of this type of film. Cool kids in the leading role, riding around in cool cars, racing around, dancing to music in a bar, a bit of romance, but it's really hit and miss. The characters are very bland and not even interesting. Not even the main one. The dialogue goes on forever, and they sometimes talk about extremely non-important things that we really could not care less about. And it doesn't help that the acting isn't good. But this is a monster movie, so we must raise the question, what about the special effects? Well, surprisingly, for a bad film, they actually look pretty good. Director Ray Kellogg was also behind the special effects. He filmed the monster on a small-scaled landscape, which is why it looks so realistic. And all the better, I'm impressed. But it's too bad that the capacities of this monster are quite limited. It's not like Godzilla, who can breathe nuclear fire out and destroy buildings. This thing is slow as ass! Also, Gila monsters can be venomous, so it could have been a good idea to have him poison his victims and leaving the dead corpses out for the thrills. But no, all he does is either step on the victims or make them crash their vehicles. Oh, by the way, this being a low-budget film, the two scenes where he steps on the victims, the same shot is used, twice. I guess not very much money must have to make you as resourceful as possible. Oh, and get this. The monster featured isn't even a Gila monster, but a Mexican bedded lizard. Maybe the giant Mexican bedded lizard isn't a title that would have worked out that well, would it? But getting back to the characters, the sheriff in this movie really is absolutely useless. He's on par with the sheriff from Track of the Moon Beast. He doesn't do anything around town, and he even calls the main kid for help. He's the sheriff in town. He's supposed to be the problem-solving hero, battling evil. He's the guy that should have blown up the giant monster at the end of the movie. Not pop up randomly whenever it's convenient for him. He also pisses off the main character by telling him about his broken headlight. Now that's after they've both just found a crashed car with blood on it, and 2 missing people. What's wrong with him? He definitely doesn't have any sense of priority, does he? Idiot. Also, there's this drunk character in this film, which just embarrasses the rest of the crew, like if their acting wasn't cringe-worthy enough either to begin with. This guy can't spit out dialogue for the love of God. The cinematography is really cheap as well. There are some jump cuts here and there, and sometimes little white lines will just pop out of nowhere onto the screen. Apart from the effects, the theme song is actually quite eerie, and I liked it, but there isn't anything otherwise. It's a slow-moving, non-engaging, corny, dumb film which completely misses the possibilities it had to be a better movie. There's also a colorized version which came out, but apart from some artificial flashy colors, it's the same crap pile. So, it's a terrible camfest and isn't worth the watch. I've seen this film several times actually, and every time it's just as dull as the previous. Don't waste your time on this. But